The individual who wants to reach the top in business must appreciate the might and force of habit. He must be quick to break those habits that can break him and hasten to adopt those practices that will become the habits that will help him achieve the success he desires. Your ability and willingness to discipline yourself to accept personal responsibility for your life is essential for happiness, health, success, achievement, and personal leadership. Accepting responsibility is one of the hardest of all disciplines, but without it, no success is possible. The failure to accept responsibility and the attempt to foist responsibility for things in your life that make you unhappy onto other people completely distort the cause and effect. It undermines your character, it weakens your resolve, and diminishes your humanity. They lead to making endless excuses. When you are growing up, from an early age, you become conditioned to seeing yourself as not responsible for your life. So this is normal and natural. When you're a child, your parents are in charge. They make all your decisions. They decide what food you'll eat, what clothes you'll be wearing, what toys you will be playing with, where you're going to be living in, which school you're going to be attending, what activities you'll be engaging during your spare time. Because you're young, you're innocent and unknowing, you do what they want you to do. You have very little choice and control like you do to your child now. As you grow up, however, you begin to make more and more of your own decisions in each of these areas. But because of your early programming, you are conditioned unconsciously to feel that someone else is still responsible for your life, and there is still someone else out there who can or should take care of you. Most people grow up believing that if something goes wrong, someone else is responsible, someone else is to be blamed, someone else is guilty, someone else is the villain, and they are the victim. As a result, most people make more and more excuses for the things in their lives, the past and the present, that make them unhappy. If your parents criticized you or got angry with you for the mistakes you made when you were growing up, you began to unconsciously assume that somehow you were at fault. If your parents punished you physically or emotionally for doing or not doing something that pleased them or displeased them, you felt inferior and inadequate. When your parents withheld their love to punish you for not doing something they demanded, you might have grown up with deep feelings of guilt, unworthiness, and undeservingness. All these negative feelings could then intersect to make you feel like a victim, like you were not responsible for yourself or your life once you became an adult. The most common feeling that we have as adults, if we have been raised in a critical home environment, is the feeling that I am not good enough. Because of this feeling, we compare ourselves unfavorably to others. We think that other people who seem to be happier or more confident are better than us. We develop feelings of inferiority. This can become an emotional trap. So, to escape from these feelings of guilt and worthlessness that have been instilled in us as a result of destructive criticism in childhood, we lash out at the world. We lash out at the people, situations. In any part of our life with which we are unhappy or discontented, our first reaction is to look around and ask who is to be blamed. Most religions teach the concept of sin, which states that whenever something goes wrong, someone is to be blamed. Someone has done something bad or someone is guilty. Someone must be punished. So this whole idea of guilt and punishment leads to this ever-increasing feelings of anger, resentment, and irresponsibility. Our courts today are clogged with thousands of people demanding redress and payment for something that went wrong in their lives. Backed up by ambitious plaintiff lawyers, people go to court demanding compensation, even if they themselves are completely at fault for what happened, especially if they are at fault. People don't want to accept responsibility. People spill hot coffee on themselves and actually sue the fast food restaurant that sold them the coffee in the first place. People get drunk and drive off the road and then turn around and sue the manufacturer of the 15-year-old car they were driving. People climb up on a stepladder and lean over too far, falling onto the ground. They then sue the ladder manufacturer for the injury. In each case, people are attempting to escape the responsibility for their own behaviors by blaming someone else, making excuses, and then demanding compensation. The common denominator of all people is the desire to be happy. In its simplest terms, happiness arises from the absence of negative emotions. Where there are no negative emotions, all that is left is positive emotions. Therefore, the elimination of negative emotion is your great business in life if you truly wish to be happy. There are dozens of negative emotions. Although the most common are guilt, resentment, envy, jealousy, fear, hostility, they all ultimately boil down to the feeling of anger, directed either inward or outward. Anger is directed inwardly when you bottle it up rather than expressing it constructively to others. Anger is directed outwardly when you criticize or attack other people. Negative emotions are the major causes of psychosomatic illness. Now, this occurs when the mind, that is a psycho, makes the body is a soma, which becomes sick. Negative emotions, especially when expressed in the form of anger, weakens your immune system and makes you susceptible to flu, the colds, and other diseases. Uncontrolled bursts of anger can actually bring about heart attacks, strokes, and even nervous breakdowns. Here's a great discovery. All negative emotions, especially anger, depend for their very existence on your ability to blame someone or something else for something in your life that you're not happy about. It takes tremendous self-discipline to refrain from blaming others for our problems. It takes enormous self-control to refuse to make excuses. It takes tremendous self-discipline for you to accept complete responsibility for everything you are, for everything you become, and everything that happens to you. Even if you are not directly responsible for something that happens, for example, like Hurricane Katrina, you are responsible for your responses, for what you do, for what you say from that moment forward. It does take tremendous self-mastery for you to take complete control of your subconscious mind and deliberately choose to think positive, constructive thoughts that will surely enhance your life and improve the quality of relationships and your results. But trust me, the payoff is tremendous. By following the path of least resistance, the easiest and the most mindless behavior of all is for a person to lash out and blame someone else anytime anything goes wrong for any reason. But people who develop the habit of automatically blaming often become angry at things. Blaming inanimate objects when they do not function as expected is so silly that it almost becomes a mild form of insanity. People become angry at doors that stick. They swear literally at tools that they are using when they themselves make a mistake. They get mad when their car doesn't start, even if it's an inanimate object. If it doesn't even work perfectly, then the thing must be blamed. People often kick a car when they are mad at, or a box that they trip over. The fastest and most dependable way to eliminate negative emotion is to just say, I am responsible. Whenever something happens that triggers anger or a negative reaction of any kind, quickly neutralize the feelings of negativity by just saying, I am responsible. The law of substitution says that you can substitute a positive thought for a negative one. Since your mind can hold only one thought at a time, when you deliberately choose the positive thought, I am responsible, you cancel out all the other emotions at that point. It is not possible to accept responsibility and remain angry at the same time. It's not possible to accept responsibility and also experience negative emotions. It is not possible to accept responsibility without becoming calm, clear, positive, and focused. So, as long as you are blaming someone else for something in your life that you don't like, you will remain a mental child. You will continue to see yourself as a small person, a helpless person, like a victim. You continue to lash out. However, when you begin to accept responsibility for everything that happens, you transform yourself into a mental adult. You will see yourself as being in charge of your own life and no longer a victim. In Alcoholics Anonymous, people who are having problems with drinking attend meetings with others going through the same situation. Now, what they have found is that until the individual accepts responsibility for his or her problems, both with alcohol and in other areas of life, no progress is possible. But after the person accepts responsibility, everything is possible. This is true with almost every difficult situation in life in which you project your unhappiness onto other people or factors outside yourself. Many of our biggest problems and concerns in life have to do with money. Earning it, spending it, investing it, and especially losing it. As a result, many of our negative emotions are associated with money in some way. However, the fact is that you are responsible for your financial life. You choose, you decide, you are in charge. You cannot blame your financial problems or situation on other people. You are in the driver's seat. So it is only when you accept responsibilities for your income, because you choose to accept the job you are in at the moment, your bills, who spent the money that put you into debt, and your investments, who made those decisions. Can you move from being an economic child to an economic adult? There is a direct relationship between the acceptance of responsibility and the amount of personal control you feel you have over your life. Now, this means that the more you accept responsibility, the greater sense of control you experience. There is also a direct relationship between the amount of control you feel you have and how positive you feel. The more you feel that you have a high sense of control in the important areas of your life, the more positive and happy you are in everything you do. So when you accept responsibility, you feel strong, you feel powerful, you feel purposeful. Accepting responsibilities eliminates the negative emotion that rob you of the happiness and contentment. In every situation, the antidote to negative emotion is to say, I am responsible. Then look into the situation to find the reason why you are responsible for what happened and for what is going on. Your intelligence is like a double-edged sword. It can cut in either direction. You can use your intelligence to rationalize, you can use your intelligence to justify, blame other people for things you are not happy about, or you can use your intelligence to find reasons why you are responsible for what happened and then take actions to solve the problem or even resolve the situation. You can make excuses or you can make progress. You choose. Even if an accident has occurred, such as your car being damaged in the parking lot while you were at work, you may not be legally at fault for the accident, but you are still responsible for the responses for how you behave as a result of what happened. The mark of a leader, the truly superior person, is that he or she accepts complete responsibility for the situation. It is not possible to imagine a true leader who whines and complains rather than taking action when problems and difficulties arise. Now, this sense of responsibility is the mark of a highly developed personality. You take responsibility for your life by resolving in advance that you will not become upset or angry over something that you cannot affect or change. So just as you do not become angry about the weather, you do not become angry over circumstances and situations over which you have no control. You especially do not allow yourself to be angry and unhappy in the present because of unhappy experiences or situations from the past. You say, what cannot be cured must be endured. It is amazing how many people are unhappy today because of a past event, even something that happened many, many years ago. Each time they think of a negative experience, they become angry or depressed once again. The good news is that at any time, you can stop thinking about discussing and rehashing the past. You can let it go and begin thinking instead about your goals and your unlimited future. As Helen Keller said, when you turn toward the sunshine, the shadows fall behind you. The only real antidote for anger or worry is purposeful action in the direction of your goals. Before you turn to that, however, resolve today to first take complete control of your thoughts, your feelings and action, and then to get so busy working on those things that are important today that you don't have any time to think about or express about negative emotions. When you exert your self-discipline and willpower in the acceptance of personal responsibility for your life, you take complete control of your thoughts and feelings. So by doing so, you become a much more effective, happy and a positive person in everything you do. Resolve today to accept 100% responsibility for everything you are and for everything you become. Never complain, never explain. Look into your past. Select a person or an incident that still makes you unhappy today. Instead of justifying your negative feelings, look for reasons why you are partially responsible for what happened. Accept complete responsibility for your financial situation and refuse to blame any financial problems on anyone else. Now, what are the steps you are going to take to resolve that situation? Accept complete responsibility for your family situation with each person and then take immediate action to improve your relationships, whether there may be any problem. Accept 100% responsibility for your health. Resolve today to do or stop doing whatever is necessary to attain excellent all-round healing. In my next video, we'll talk about why working hard is so important. So please don't forget to subscribe down below. Click on the bell icon to receive alerts as well. Until we meet in my next awesome talk, I'm Dr. Caroline Pritish with you on Learn with Carol.